Hey guys, my name is Danny and I'm your life and relationship coach. And today I want to talk about communicating without fighting. So, how can you effectively communicate in a relationship without fighting with your spouse, with your partner? This is something that I get asked all the time, especially when it comes to people who have been in long-term relationships. And it's possible that you've kind of fallen into a routine. It's possible that you've lost a little bit of connection with your partner. It's possible that you're stressed just with like the external stimulation of life, right? So work and raising the kids and trying to pay the bills and the duties around the house and all those types of things. All of those things can contribute to a feeling of stress and anxiety, which also contributes to fights in a relationship. There are multiple things that contribute to fighting in a relationship, right? So it's a feeling of losing sense of self-identity or not really having your independence anymore, or again, not feeling connected to your partner on an emotional level, feeling a lack of intimacy. There's just so many things that contribute to it. But I wanted to be able to provide you guys with some fundamentals that you guys can utilize and apply in your relationship to try to avoid fights as much as possible. Now, to be 100% clear, this isn't going to be a remedy, some kind of antidote that stops arguing altogether, right? Arguments are inevitable in a relationship. They are going to happen at some point or another, but it's really about the severity and the degree of the arguments that we are trying to manage. So with that being said, the first thing, right, is to recognize and understand that fights are inevitable. They're going to happen at some point or another. There's going to be some kind of trigger. There's going to be, something that happens where you may not be having a great day. You're not in a good mood. You're hungry and your partner says something and it triggers you and you start to fight. What we're striving to accomplish here is to reduce the severity of those arguments. So how do you start to do that? How do you reduce the severity? One of the things that you can start to do is try to understand and recognize what your partner's triggers are. If you are not fully aware of what that is, invest a little bit of time in trying to understand those things. Ask your partner, say, what is it that upsets you? What are the things that trigger you that I do in the house? Or that I do when we are conversating, that I do when we are out doing things together. Try to gain an understanding and vice versa, right? So your partner should want to know what your triggers are as well and avoid them. Avoid them at all costs because that will help to reduce the amount of arguments that you guys have. The other primary one, and this is something that I say all the time to my clients, is listen to understand, right? Take the time to really try to comprehend what your partner is saying to you. Don't try to be right. And this happens so often where people in arguments will just listen to be able to grab something or grab a hold of something that they can utilize as ammunition to fire back at their partner. And at that point, you're not listening to understand, you're just listening to be right. And what I say to people is, do you want to be right or do you want to be in the relationship? Because if you continue to try to just be right, it's going to frustrate your partner to no end. You guys are going to get nowhere. Nothing is going to get resolved. And you guys will most likely end in a breakdown of the relationship. The third thing is empathize with your partner, right? Put yourself in your partner's shoes. How are they feeling? Do you understand those feelings? And even if you don't understand, even if you don't agree with your partner, that is okay, right? You're two completely different people. You process emotions in a different way. But the point is you're able to come together and have a discussion about it. You're able to come together and gain some sort of understanding of what your partner is feeling and vice versa. So again, you don't have to agree. And if it's something that you aren't able to wrap your head around, communicate that. Say, I don't fully understand what it is that you're feeling right now, but what is it that you need from me right now in order to help you through this? That is also being empathetic. That is you being patient and understanding and compassionate to the situation, which in turn helps your partner feel like you are supporting them, you are invested in the relationship. It helps and it contributes to the ability for your partner to be vulnerable, which helps to build a deeper connection. And when you have a deeper connection with somebody and you're able to communicate effectively, you have less and less and less arguments, and the severity of those arguments drop in degree. The fourth one is take turns speaking. So many times people talk over each other because they're just so desperate to get their point across, right? They're so frustrated, they're so angry, they're so mad in that moment that they just want their partner to hear them. They want them to understand them, right? So you want your partner to understand that you're upset and you're mad, and this is the point that you're trying to make. So you talk over your partner or they talk over you. That's not productive. It's not going to get you anywhere. So my recommendation is, usually in my one-on-one sessions with my couples, is take 15 minutes each, right? So this falls back to that concept in some of the communication videos that I mentioned of scheduling your arguments, because it's a semi-controlled environment. And in a semi-controlled environment, there is room for more emotional neutrality, and the emotions aren't going to be running as high. And if you are able to give your partner the space and the respect to express themselves without interrupting them, then they will do the same for you. So whether that's 10 or 15 minutes, take turns back and forth. But keep in mind, if you are the person speaking, also respect the time and be aware of your time. Be aware that you're coming up to the 10 or the 15-minute mark so that you can wrap up your point and you can allow your partner to express themselves and tell you how they are feeling about the situation as well. The next thing, the fifth thing, is establish a timeout, right? So often couples get so heated in a conversation and they're talking over each other and they're yelling and they're not listening to each other. They're really just talking to each other, at each other, that the conversation goes nowhere. It's just this merry-go-round of yelling and blaming and not understanding each other, and that's not fair and this isn't fair. Stop. Break the cycle, right? So establish a timeout. So whether that means this means timeout or this means timeout or whatever sign, symbol you guys decide to come up with, it is incredibly important in navigating and managing these types of arguments and these types of conversations, because that allows you and your partner to know that one of you needs a timeout and that you're going to be stepping away. My recommendation is usually for an hour, and to do something physical, some kind of physical activity to release the steam. And then you come back and you have the conversation again when you are at a less emotionally charged place, because that allows for more rational and logical conversation. We all know that when we are at our limit and that our emotions are running high, we have a tendency of saying irrational things or saying things that we don't necessarily mean. And then at that point, it is no longer about the subject at hand, but more so the disrespect and the tone and what was said. So we want to make sure that we are staying on topic, that we are staying focused on the issue we are trying to resolve. And in order to do that, sometimes you have to take a break from the conversation. The final thing, the sixth thing, is validation. Validating your partner, letting them know that their emotions are, or the way that they are feeling is legitimate. And in order to do that, you also have to be able to take accountability. So do you take responsibility for your actions? Do you acknowledge when you've done something wrong or when you've made your partner feel a particular way? Validation, and as simple as this may seem, it is one of the most difficult things for people to do, because validation also involves you saying, look, I messed up. I apologize. You're completely right. I should not have done that. What do you need me to do? How can I best support you? And what I have oftentimes found is that couples don't know how to validate. So in the middle of an argument, the best way to disarm your partner, the best way to kind of blow off the steam really quickly, is to stop and validate them and say, you know what? You're absolutely right. I apologize. I understand where you're coming from. Your feelings are valid. What is it that you need from me? And if that is not your usual mode of operation, that is not usually how you argue, your partner will probably not know how to respond to that. But what I can guarantee you is that it's not going to be a screaming match anymore. There's going to be a pause, and your partner is going to need to process that, because it's probably the first time that they're receiving validation in a really long time, if ever. And vice versa. This is also for the person who feels like they are not being validated. If your partner is able to do that for you, you would honestly pause as well and go, wait, hold on. That felt kind of nice. I feel like maybe they understood me. Now we can continue this conversation and try to resolve the issue at hand. Being that this is a video on communication, and it's, again, what I said, one of the primary things that I see all the time in my one-on-one coaching sessions, I spent the time and I created this incredible product around communication. It is something that will help change the dynamic of your relationship, I guarantee you. And basically what it does is it breaks it down into two primary parts. So the first one being the fundamental aspects of communication, so the basics, and the second part is conflict resolution. If you are watching this video, that means you are trying to gain some tools to be able to communicate effectively with your partner. This product will help you do that. It will break it down for you step by step so you have an understanding of what communication is and how to communicate with your partner. So if you really want to get out of this cycle of negativity and blame, go to the Happily Committed website and click on the tab that says product, and there you will find the communication training. And I promise you, it will change the dynamic of your relationship and it'll change your life, honestly. If you guys like this video, please make sure you hit the like and subscribe button down below. I love having open dialogue with people. So if this is something, again, like I said, you related to, or you feel like I may have missed something, or you just generally want to leave a comment, please leave it in the comment box down below. Maybe you just want you just want more detail, or you want to dive in a little bit deeper. You can visit us at happilycommitted.com, where we have a multitude of different articles and videos and blogs related to this topic and many other topics as well. If you want to book a one-on-one coaching session with myself or any of the other amazing coaches that we have on the team, you can also do that directly through the website. And don't forget, guys, go to the website, click on products, and check out the communication training. It will 100% help shift the dynamic of your relationship, and you guys will be able to communicate effectively and efficiently, which is probably a breath of fresh air compared to the current dynamic of your relationship. Again, my name is Danny. I'm your life and relationship coach. Hope you guys are staying happy and healthy. See you guys soon.